Salut tout le monde, je m'appelle Kevvie. Hey y'all, it's me, Kevvie. I'm here to do some more Pride reading for y'all. As you may or may not have seen by the time this video comes up, I've read the transgender classic, Nevada by Imogen Binnie. And I wanted to share one of my favorite parts of this book with y'all. In this section, this trans girl named Maria is at an internet cafe and decides to write a blog. She writes, "Oh man, can we talk about stereotypes and staring at the computer?" Okay, I imagine you're familiar with the stereotypes around transsexual women, that we're all sex workers, that we're all hairy, pot-bellied old men, that we're all deep-voiced nightlife phoenixes, that we're all drag queens, that we're all repressed, that we're all horny she-males with 12-inch cocks. Sometimes the stereotypes are contradictory. Those ones are weird. Can we talk about what the actual stereotypes around transsexual women should be? The ones that hit a little too close to home to be funny. 1. We are not sex fiends, we are internet fiends. This one is easy to understand. When you come out as trans, it's hard to tell your wife or your het bros or your dad or your, I don't know, bookstore coworkers. For whatever reason though, it's pretty easy to tell people from Alaska or California or, England. In this weird way, internet message boards, LiveJournal, all these things feel like they're a safe way to talk about being trans, to exist without this problematic body you're stuck with when you're offline in meat space, like they used to say in the 80s in William Gibson novels, which rules. But so there's this whole internet community, which makes sense. It's maybe the best thing about the internet, how you can access information you need safely and anonymously. Except that just like any other community, especially any other internet community, it's become this closed off thing, with stuff it's okay to talk about and stuff it's not okay to talk about, perspectives you're allowed to have and ones you're not, and its own patron saint. Her name is Julia Serrano, and like most figureheads, she's very smart and sweet and right on and almost entirely unproblematic, but her acolytes totally get obnoxious, taking her writings as doctrine. Not to mention, if you are a total baby panda at internet communities asking, like, how do I get hormones? Internet trans women are very nice. They will tell you. But when you ask more complicated questions, like, say, how do you resolve a genderqueer identity with a female identity, when it seems like acknowledging the restraints of female identity and then bursting them doesn't make you no longer female, just empowered, and therefore is genderqueer a privileged identity that's mostly available to female-assigned people with punk rock haircuts in college? Then everybody gets all butthurt and you get in trouble. Anyway, whatever. Stereotype, in love with the internet. 2. There's a stereotype that trans women get all this male privilege all their lives, and then they transition and take up too much space and are overly assertive and stuff like that. And it's true. Sometimes folks transition and are jerks. Look at Caitlyn Jenner. The flip side is there are a lot of cis women who are jerks too. And those trans women just join the general population of women who are jerks. What's a lot more common, 1,000,000 times more common, and what nobody ever seems to talk about, is this thing where trans women are given male privilege all their lives before transition, but they don't know what to do with it. And so it kind of stunts them socially. Like, okay, do you know any straight male-assigned men who kind of get it? Like, they try to be feminists, but they acknowledge that it is a complicated, maybe impossible thing for a man to be feminist. So they're respectful of women and give space, stand back, whatever. And it would be totally great, except that it leads to them never doing anything. Like, they just stand back and say there are some books that need to be shelved. The windows are all dirty. There are boxes that need to go outside. Some kid threw up somewhere. You'll start, say, carrying boxes outside, and then when that's done, You start mopping up the puke and he's just standing there. So you're like, what the fuck? Are you going to move the books or clean the window? And he's like, oh, okay, totally. In this very enlightened way that gives you space to fucking do everything. Except they need you to show them how to clean a window because they don't want to do it wrong. That kind of guy. I will admit, it's more complicated than that, right? I shouldn't be mean. Straight dudes have it kind of rough if they don't want to shake out their male privilege all over the place. But really? You don't know how to fucking cook onions and garlic before you throw in all the other vegetables? Anyway, whatever. I have boys who are friends. I used to be one of those boys. This quiet dude just standing there trying to be helpful but really just pointlessly taking up space. Anyway, that is what happens when you try not to use your male privilege, but don't have any models for alternatives. You withdraw. Here's the stereotype I'm trying to get to. Trans women try to shirk their male privilege before transitioning, disappear into themselves, and then can never really get back out to become assertive, present, feminist women. And that is why everyone thinks we're weird. Which is a loaded statement, right? Totally unfair and fucked up, and that's why it's a stereotype that I'm making up. But there's a grain of truth there. I don't think I've ever met a trans woman in the process of transition who was comfortable taking up, like, any gosh darn space at all, you know? You have to actively look at the women around you if you're lucky enough to be close to any women, to figure out that women take up tons of space, however much they want, all the time. They just tend to do it differently than men. Although, not always. And I'm definitely not going to pick apart the way they're different. And there are men who take up space in a way that reads as female gender normative. And there are women who take up space in ways that read as male gender normative. Duh, whatever. All I'm trying to tell you is why it's fucked that there's a stereotype of trans women being all manly. 3. When we are rejected from the Johns Hopkins transgender program and not allowed bottom surgery, we all dig a well inside our filthy suburban houses, pierce our nipples, put cissexual women in the well for weeks at a time, and then skin them. Actually, this one's true. We also all have 80s tattoos and poofy little dogs. The trans community officially put out a fatwa on Thomas Harris when The Silence of the Lambs came out, because we'd been able to keep that little tendency under wraps until he told everybody not to appropriate cultures. 4. Maybe there's another one. I don't know. We're all good at computers. We're all frustratingly shy. We're all murderers. I'll let you know if I think of more. Oh my gosh, isn't that so much fun? Like, oh, that is a great book, and it's a classic for a reason. Oh, just, you have any trans murderer friends in your life? Let me know in the comments below. Gay. I have so many more books that I want to read for y'all. I don't even know where to begin or where to start or what I should read for y'all. So tell me, what books do you want to hear? Or, have you read this book yet? Are you going to? Tell me. What else should I question? Don't I look gorgeous? Have you told me I'm gorgeous yet? This is my 3rd video in this look, so you better have fucking told me how fucking gorgeous I am. Fuck. See, look at me. I'm gorgeous. Yay. Yay, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if it pleases and sparkles, I'll see you in the next video. Mwah!